This manga is trash, and I am not kidding. Gachiakuta in Japanese literally translates to serious garbage. That's because the main story takes place in a place full of trash, but the manga itself is freaking amazing. I think it could be as big as Jujutsu Kaisen if it gets a good anime adaptation in future. Gachiakuta is written and illustrated by Kei Urana, who used to be an assistant for the manga series Fire Force. As usual, we'll do the unboxing of the Japanese volumes at the later part of this video, but let's first introduce the manga. I'll only be talking about the first few chapters, so don't worry about the spoilers. This is our main character, Rudo. He is a young boy who lives in a slum of a wealthy society separated by a huge wall. This slum is for people who are descended from criminals. Underneath the slum, there is a massive dump site in an abyss known as the pit. This abyss is where people dump anything that is considered trash, including criminals. Rudo absolutely hates the wastefulness of the upper class. He would frequently rummage through the dump site to look for things to sell and earn a living, which is of course illegal. One day he is wrongly accused of murder, which leads to him being convicted as a criminal. Rudo swears revenge upon the killer and the people who don't believe what he said, and is then dumped into the pit. For an unknown reason, he survives the fall and discovers that the pit is full of monsters made of trash. As expected with any shonen story, he is saved by someone named Engine. After some events, Rudo awakens his power and is now considered a giver. Isn't this panel cool as heck? So Giver is a title given to anyone who can use the power of unique weapons known as Jinki, aka Vital Instruments. Engine asks him to join the Cleaners, which is a group of givers responsible for killing the trash monsters. Rudo accepts his offer with the conditions that they have to help him return to the surface and get his revenge on those who dumped him into the abyss. This is basically the first few chapters of Gachiakuta. The setting of the story is not something we haven't seen before, but it doesn't stop you from craving for more through the perspective of Rudo as he learns about the mystery of the world and how he gets out of difficult situations where his life is at risk. I have read around 50 chapters of the manga and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. This series is not afraid of telling dark stories, like I mean real dark. I'm talking about issues like this, and I'm pretty sure there will be plenty more coming in future. The story can be really disturbing sometimes, but that's exactly why it's so impactful. In my opinion, characterization is one of the strongest points of Gachiakuta. Unlike the standard shonen protagonists that are always trying to be a good guy, we get to see how a character with past trauma actually behaves in stressful situations. Their actions can be twisted and unpredictable, and I was shocked many times reading the story. The female characters in this manga are also very cool, and they don't need to be protected like some other shonen series. Because of the vibe of the story, there is minimal fan service, so you can hardly get distracted reading it. However, their character designs are still pretty hot in my opinion. There are also characters that only appear once in the story, but their personalities can leave such a strong impression on you. I don't want to spoil anything, but the power system in Gachiakuta is really cool. The characters get their weapons depending on how much care they put into an object. Literally anything can become a weapon or jinki as long as they receive enough care, whether it's a pair of scissors, an umbrella, or even a freaking keyboard. What's even cooler is the main character's ability. I don't want to spoil it, but his power is super cool and can be OP depending on how he uses it. I'll leave the surprise for you to discover. Frankly, I wasn't really into the art style at first, but after a few chapters, dang it, I got used to it and even fell in love with the rough punky art style which conveys the feelings of the characters and the vibes of the environment really well. Because it's a shonen manga, you know how important the fight scenes are. How good is it in this series? Well, you guessed it, they are incredible. Because of the unique power system in this story, the fights can be drawn from various angles and the fight choreography is just insane. They never fail to impress me even after 50 chapters into the manga. By the way, they even invited a real graffiti artist to draw in the manga, as you can see on the cover. There's even an entire city dedicated to graffiti. That's basically my opinion on Gachiakuta, and now let's move on into the unboxing. I have the first 5 volumes here in Japanese together with their bonus postcards, and I got them from Mercari Japan. The designs on the postcards are basically the same as the cover art, and they look cool as heck. Of course, we have Rudo on the first volume. By the way, I have all the volumes here in their first edition. For the second volume, we have Zanka. He is not a likable character at first glance, but you will come to appreciate his personality later in the story. Enjin is featured on the third volume, and I think he has the best character design so far. This is Rio, and she is one of the few female characters in the series. The story gets really interesting from this volume. I swear, this guy looks like a bad guy, but he is actually part of the cleaners. The story in this volume gets really dark. This is how the 5 volumes look together, they just look amazing. As usual, we'll do a quick flip through of the first volume. I have said this before, I love the manga cover design from Kodansha. We even get some bonus illustrations at the inner cover, which is something I really appreciate. The graffiti art is insane. To be honest, I would prefer if they have the first few pages in color. Kei Urana's art style is so sick. Because the first chapter is usually very long, we only get 4 chapters in this volume. Currently, there is no official English release of this series yet, but it will be coming soon in January 2024. I would highly recommend you to pick out the Japanese version if you can't wait, because it is really that good. I will be covering more from Gachiakuta in my future manga haul videos, so make sure you are subscribed if you want to see it. Even though the anime adaptation is not announced yet, I really hope that Gachiakuta can be adapted by either Wit Studio or MAPPA. Looking back at the anime done by MAPPA, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, they all share the same dark vibe and the world is kind of messed up. This is literally the description of Gachiakuta, and I am looking forward to the anime announcement, hopefully next year. One man's trash is another man's treasure. This is what Gachiakuta is about, and it's a gem in the shonen genre. If you want to see more manga recommendations from me, check out these videos, subscribe, like and comment if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care and bye!